Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Let us learn today the introduction of the Python. Before learning the introduction of the Python, one should know why Python. So Python is one of the easiest language to learn and use because the number of lines of code in the Python language is very less. Okay, and so it becomes the development very fast. And as the number of lines of code is very less, you can easily learn that language, and it is a powerful language. As I said, it is easiest language. You should not think that only the beginners will use that language. It is used by the professionals to solve the complex task or complex programming. Python is an open source programming language. What do you mean by open source programming language? It is freely available, and many anyone can contribute for the development of the programming language. Anyone can contribute for the development, or he can add their own functionalities in the source code of the Python programming language. And it is used for web programming. Python programming is used for web programming, data science, artificial intelligence, and many scientific applications. Learning Python allows the programmer to focus more on solving the program rather than focusing on the syntax. Let us see the history of Python now. It is invented in Netherlands in early 19th by Guido van Ransom. It is named after Monty Python. At that time, there was a famous circus called as Monty Python. On the name of this circus, they have named this programming language as Monty Python. It is considered as scripting language, and it is more than the scripting language. And what do you mean by a scripting language? It is used for the development of web applications. The thing of meaning of scripting language is you can embed this Python language in HTML programming language, and you can make HTML interactive. It is object-oriented programming language, and everything in Python is object, and it is used by Google from the beginning. The features of what are the features of Python language? First, it is a high level language. So you know that there are three types of languages: low level language, middle level language, and high level language. The example of low level language is assembly language. Middle level language is C, C++. And what do you mean by C and C? Middle level language. Middle level language can be used for both application programmings and for operating system level programming languages. High level languages, it is used for the development of applications, and examples of high level language are Python, Java, etc. And the advantage of high level language is there is no need to remember the system architecture or manage the memory. It is object oriented. Object oriented, though it is object oriented, you can use Python programming as functional programming as well as object oriented programming. If you see the Java programming language, you need to write every code, all the code in between. That means you need to embed the code inside the class. Without class, you cannot write the program in the Java language. It is not the case with Python program. You can use it as both object-oriented programming language as well as a simple functional programming language. But remember, everything in Python is an object. Scalable. So when you want to scale something, you need to compare it with some other language. So Python is often compared with Unix shell scripting language. In Unix shell scripting language, only simple shell scripts are handled and simple task is handled. That is not the case with Python. Python can handle the complex task also. And code reusability is also less in Unix shell scripting when compared to Python language. Extensible. Python is extensible. That means that you can use code from other languages like C++ in your Python code. Not only that, you can embed the Python in other languages. You can embed other languages in Python and you can embed Python in other languages. Vice versa is possible. So you can extend the Python language. Portable. Python is actually developed using C language. As C is portable, Python is also portable. What do you mean by portable? You can use this language on any system. You can use this Python language on any operating system, on any platform. You can use Python on Windows. You can use Python on Unix or on any other operating system. You can use Python. Easy to learn. Python contains very few keywords. Say, for example, you take the example of Java. For simple printing hello world onto the console, you need three keywords. That means you need system.out.println to print hello. Three keywords you are required. But when compared to Python, you require a just print statement. As the number of keywords are very less in Python language, you can easily learn the Python language. That's why students prefer Python language rather than other languages. Easy to learn or easy to read. See, Python language code is very much similar to English sentences. When you want to indicate or represent a block of statements in other language, you take use of flower braces. If you write a few sentences inside the flower braces, it represents the block of statements. All the statements inside that flower braces belongs to one function or one block. But in case of Python language, that block of statements will be represented using indentations. Indentation. All the statements that starts with the same indentation belongs to one block. Easy to maintain. Python source code is fairly easy to maintain. Robust. As Python contains only few lines of code, it is very easy to debug. As it is very easy to debug and it is very easy to find the errors, it is very easy to maintain. So as there is more maintenance is there, it is this language is trustworthy, that is it is robust. Interpreted and byte compiled. What is the difference between interpreted language and compiled language? Interpreted language means the code is executed line by line, whereas compiler language means the code is executed all at a time. So Python code is executed line by line. And say the source code of Python is converted immediately to immediate form, which is called as byte code. Like Java, Python is actually byte compiled. It is interpreted and byte compiled. Obtaining the Python language. How can you obtain the Python language? Python can be obtained from www.python.org. Let us see what is this python.org. This is the website from where you can download this site. So this is python.org. From the downloads, you can download the latest version. You can see this, the latest version is Python 3.10.6. Right? I have the Python IDE. Let us open my IDE. See, when I have installed this Python IDE, the latest version is 3.8.5. But now The latest version is Python 3.10.6. So when you open this Python IDE, it looks like this. It gives the version, okay, when it was installed and other information. Right? So how can you run the Python? Python can be run using three ways. But that is one using integrative development environment IDE. We have seen IDE. The other is using interactive interpreter from the command line, and from other from script as a command line. See, you can develop. You can use the command prompt. If the command prompt, if you type Python, see the Python command prompt has been displayed here. These three greater than symbols are called as Python interactive prompt. If you want to come out of this Python command prompt, you need to press Ctrl Z. Another is using the file. Just create a file. Okay, I have created a file, and see, when you create a file, the file when you are saving it, the name should be saved with the extension dot cy, sorry, dot py. They have created a file and I named it as test.py. The name of the file should be extended, the extension of the file name should be .py. And if you want to run this Python file, just type Python and the name of the file. When you give the name of the file, it should be included with the complete path. The complete path, that means you need to give along with the name of the file where it has been saved. So I have saved in C drive. Under that I have created a folder called as Priya. Under that I have created a file called as test.py. See, executed. Right? Thank you. That's all for today. The remaining tomorrow's class.